What up? What up? Good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Nice to see the chat's already popping with some discussion. CPI day. So we'll jump into CPI. Oh, man. Did I get CPI? Oh, yeah. Tomorrow at 8:30. Well, I'm going to have to edit that title. Whoops. Apologize for the confusion there. Got a little bit ahead of myself on what the day was. So, a little disappointing. I was excited for CPI day, but let me just fix up the title here. That's funny. I totally thought today was Wednesday. Totally thought today was Wednesday. That's all right though. We have plenty of stuff to cover. I had like everything all set up. Titles and everything, and I just don't know what day of the week it is. All right, there we go. I hope everyone's doing well today. Got that title fixed up. Sorry for any confusion on that. It is not CPI day. I wish it was. That would definitely deepen, as you said. I think a lot of the market is waiting for CPI to come in, so that's probably one of the big things we're waiting on. Adam, good to see you. Dave Nelson. Oh, just ending your day. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. just starting over here in the United States, and it's nice for me because I'm on the East Coast of the United States, so I'm like a little ahead of everyone else. So everyone else is in the country this is still pretty early for them. So it's nice for me because I get to get a jump start on everything. Alan, good to see you. Daniel, George, Emwo. Is sound on? Are we good on sound? No? OBS virtual camera, audio, testing. Hello? Yeah, it looks like we got sound. Cool. Damn. Yeah. A little unfortunate. Thought we had CPI. That's all right though. We definitely got plenty of interesting things going on today. Let's take a quick look at the news, and then I'll cover some stuff that I definitely want to talk about this morning.
But the other problem with antitrust policy, for the most part, is there's no proof that Google is charging outrageous sums and charging above and controlling the market. They just say they have a lot of the market share. And this has been the problem with antitrust policy going back to Standard Oil. It didn't have so much to do with the price or gouging the consumer. It just had to do with market share. And I think market share shouldn't be regulated at all. I think it should be based on the consumer. And this is something we've gotten away from now, and it's a nonsensical economic policy. But it's a mistake to break up great American companies, because what they'll be replaced with is companies from other countries.
You think that goes for, let's say, the antitrust case against Microsoft and others as well, AT&T?
Absolutely. And I think some people get misguided by policy. Some on the right hate Google because of their left-wing politics. Mm-hmm. I don't particularly like them. I try to use DuckDuckGo because I don't like the policies of Google. I don't like them just, putting to the forefront on all the algorithms left-wing politics. But at the same time, I don't want my personal beliefs to get in the way of interfering with a company's right to grow. Listen, linking their product, linking the service.
That's kind of funny. Yeah, everyone, I think a lot of people probably dislike Google because of their policies, but to have to use something like DuckDuckGo over Google, it's like Google. You can't really not use Google. At that point, you're kind of just kicking yourself. In terms of interoperability and what Google's connected to, it's man, I wouldn't want to be using DuckDuckGo. I would not want to be stuck using DuckDuckGo. Regardless of the politics behind it. I wonder if anyone here agrees with that. It's just man, it is such a stretch to be saying, okay, we got to use DuckDuckGo now over Google. XRP is going down or more up. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what XRP ends up doing. Big Lou coming in with a question. Hey, Mikkel, I have a feeling that XRP won't spike or start the run until late next year. I could be wrong, though. But the way the court is playing out and U.S. regulations will react to XRP. Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting perspective, Big Lou. I do want to add something to that. And guys, make sure if you're getting here now, like you drop a like on the stream. Really appreciate everyone doing that. It's super, super helpful. Super, super helpful in making sure we have everyone getting notified that we're live. There's no question in my mind that I am fully shadow banned for one reason or another. So you guys doing everything you can to share the stream, get the word out there, is massively helpful. Big Lou, I do have one comment kind of in what you said here, and that's that if we take a look at the XRP price chart, we can see that XRP did go on a pretty big spike right around here. That was in the midst of the Ripple SEC case. And I just want to highlight this, not because I necessarily think your comment is wrong, but it's important to understand that XRP has made a pretty big spike before, despite ongoing regulation. Like that's what this whole thing was. So like, let's wait and see how XRP reacts. But this was in the middle of the Ripple SEC case, and actually XRP from the COVID bottom to the top outperformed Bitcoin. So just something to consider there. I totally understand. I totally understand the idea that, hey, XRP does have this thing suppressing it, but it is important to realize that we do have some good historical context in terms of XRP actually performing despite the ongoing litigation. So just want people to keep that in mind, right? I know it's easy to say, oh man, we got this case ongoing. How is XRP going to perform? But I do think there's a possibility that XRP performs regardless. So see what else we got in the chat. Duck, duck, go. No, yeah. Yeah, no, man. That would you know where I am really starting to move away from Google in terms of search questions. Like, man, it just feels like a stretch to be using Google to search a question. It's like I totally really just want to use AI at this point. I mean, anything. It's like you click on a Google article and you're just blasted by all these ads. It's like, man, I just want the answer. And AI just gives you the answer. So, Big Lou says, I totally understand. Let's just wait and see. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I know the regulators in the US government could delay for people to say, yeah, no, Lou, I agree, man. Yeah, we're on the same page there. And if we take a look at where XRP stands at the moment, I mean, there's no question that it still really needs to get some momentum picking back up. Now, I believe if the catalyst is that there is no appeal in the case, we could be looking at this time frame right here around October 7th to be that catalyst to really catapult us higher. But we need some kind of catalyst for XRP to react to get that momentum going. Obviously, we've talked about extensively here that we believe, hopefully, that the case officially being over will provide that catalyst. And one other thing there is, like, it seems like the SEC has still not made a decision yet to appeal, which I think is definitely bullish. But we need one of those big moments of volatility to come in, that big candle to come in. And it seems like XRP needs some kind of catalyst at this point for that to really happen, because it's been a while without anything really making a substantial effect. The last couple things that have really had an impact on XRP has been, one, the Ripple SEC case, and then two, the ETF news that was fake. Tomorrow's CPI coming in at 1.5. Would that be enough? Yeah, Deefin, look, I think anything downward is going to be enough. And let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that specifically. Looks like looks like they're still talking. some things that aren't that interesting to the markets right now. U.S. inflation rate. And then we got to take this off log. Yeah, so look, even if we did come in even like slightly hot, like even if we let's see if I can move this bar. Yeah, so 1.5 is here. Look, we just need to go down. Like anything downward is going to be significant. If we got below 1.5, I mean, that's going to start looking like a crash on this chart. It's important to realize, and I point this out a lot, like, guys, we're within like the 100-year historical average of inflation. There's no question. I think we're already at a place that's enough for the Fed. Like, there's no reason to think that we really already aren't in that place. Like, I'm more worried about at this point, like deflation and inflation coming down all the way to the negative and really causing a severe recession or depression. Like, that's what I think there's a bigger risk of right now. So we're coming crashing back down, and we can actually take a look at other reports for what inflation is in the United States, and we actually get that it's actually lower than what the Fed is already reporting. So I know if you've watched here for a while, you probably know about this, but oh wow, yeah, this is getting extreme. This is where I'm worried. Take a look at this. This is crazy. We got inflation beaming a 1.15 number here. So Trueflation is reading 1.15 on inflation, which is I mean, that's insane. Like, we are crashing here. Take a look at the max. Yeah, well, like, this is where we're sitting right now on the government data, like the stalling out period. That's where the government data is reading. But between March and now, we've had another big crash in inflation. And guys, we are getting close to back to where we were during the whole COVID pandemic. So things are getting very, very interesting in terms of where inflation sits now. It is getting low, and it's important to realize that we could have issues on the other side of this if we don't reverse policy quickly. I pray the Fed is looking at this data. Like, I pray that the Federal Reserve understands that inflation in the United States is actually below the data we were just looking at. Like, guys, if Trueflation is reading 1.15% right now, and we're under the assumption that Trueflation is ahead of the Fed's numbers, and then we take a look at where we sit in terms of those Trueflation numbers on this Fed chart. Let me just show you guys this real quick. We were just looking at enough ads. Jeez. We were just looking at 1.15 on that chart. Let's take a look at where that would put us on this historical chart. Right now, this is all the way at 2.5. So we would have to take this bar right here and drop it all the way 1.15. That would be all the way down here. So you can very easily see why we are getting to, like, the Federal Reserve absolutely needs to cut here. Absolutely needs to cut, because Trueflation is saying we're already somewhere down here. And based off how the Fed works, look, you can see inflation was up high, chopped around a little bit, then started dropping. This is the lagging Fed data. And if we come over here to Trueflation, we can see inflation high, chop sideways, big leg down. So Trueflation is leading. It's showing us what's going to come. And right now, we're waiting for the Fed to realize that this move down here is about to get extended. So hope that makes sense on exactly what we're watching for tomorrow. I thought it was this morning. I thought we were going to get that this morning, but I also thought today was Wednesday. So Really interesting stuff. Guys, make sure to take a quick second and drop a like on the stream as well. It's really going to help out more people see the stream. If you're over on X, make sure to drop a retweet. Really going to help out there. And YouTube, drop a like. Let's try to get over 200 likes on YouTube. Would really appreciate everyone helping out there. Since we switched to the new time, I think a lot of people aren't used to this new time yet, so we're still waiting for it to fill up like it used to. So I really appreciate you guys helping out there. You guys are the best. Big Lou, where you think inflation should be at? Not familiar with the chart. Well, it's not really where I think inflation should be at. Like, it's important to realize that these Federal Reserve numbers we're looking at right here are heavily manipulated, but the Federal Reserve wants to see inflation at 2%. Like, that's their target. That's their target. The Federal Reserve's target is 2%. So what we really want to see is inflation falling within the Federal Reserve's target, because as soon as inflation falls within the Federal Reserve's target, then we can come back over here to the other part of the equation, which is interest rates. And let me pull that up real quick. So take a look at this. This is the Big Lou. This is the other half of the equation for you. So this should really help pull this together. What you're looking at right here is the is Federal Reserve interest rates. So the Federal Reserve jacked up rates. The Federal Reserve jacked up rates in order to get rid of the inflation, which, as we just looked at, right, inflation for the most part has really moved its way out of the system. But now we have interest rates still high. So what we're really saying is, now that inflation is back in line, the Federal Reserve, right, made rates go up very quickly in order to get rid of that inflation. That inflation's gone now. So we would expect to see interest rates drop back down. This would be very good for the cryptocurrency market. And this is kind of the thesis on what we're waiting for. Kevin says, Mikkel, how aggressive should the Fed be? I think the Fed should be very aggressive. I think the Fed needs to start cutting immediately, because as we just talked about in terms of inflation, like inflation is sitting at 1.15% according to Trueflation. That's worrying. That very quickly can get us to the point where we're teetering on the edge of a very big recession or a depression. So they're going to have to cut aggressively. Whether or not they'll do it, that's another question. How much is Ripple paying me? Oh man, I wish they were paying me. Ripple pays me nothing, but if they are willing to pay, if anyone knows how to get Ripple to pay me, let me know, because I think my YouTube would be a lot more profitable if Ripple was paying me. No, guys, I'm just not. I'm kidding. Obviously, Ripple does not pay me. I wish they would. I mean, I'm already so bullish on Ripple and XRP. It'd be nice if they just threw some money in my pocket, but no, I do not get paid by Ripple. John, good to see you, man. Y'all ready for tonight's debate? I was wondering if I should I should get a little live going for the debate, but no, I don't know. There's not going to be any crypto mentioned, so I don't know. No problem. Glad you enjoy the content. Yeah, I probably think it's going to be 25 or 25 or 50. I know that's kind of a boring answer. Live stream the debate. Okay, I'll consider it. I'll consider it. Depends what my night looks like. Chadwick, good to see you, man. Good to see you, Chadwick. I always appreciate seeing you down there, brother. Stream's popping off right now. Really appreciate everyone doing their part to spread the love. Dropping likes, retweeting. This is how we beat the shadow ban. This is how we beat the shadow ban. So really appreciate everyone helping out with that. YouTube does not like cryptocurrency content. And you know, if there's one thing I can do for the cryptocurrency industry when it comes to this channel, it's really just education. And I can make the content as much as I want, but what we really need is help from you guys and spreading the word, liking the stream, retweeting, and those are just simple free things you guys can do to really compound the message here. So really appreciate everyone who does that. I do want to share this with you. This is another interesting thing I believe taking place on Wednesday, and that is this vote for the spending bill with the SAVE Act attached. So this is going to create some fear in the market, I would think, because my guess is that they're likely not going to pass the spending bill, and then they're going to slap the SAVE Act on it, and they're not going to actually pass. And then there's going to be a whole big debate on whether or not they're going to actually push through the spending bill, or they're going to actually force that SAVE Act to be attached to it. Now, hold on one sec. Now, it's important to realize, like, they will end up funding the government. Like, that's the biggest fear catalyst ever that never materializes. They always end up funding the government. But there's going to be a lot of FUD and fear around this entire thing. So keep your eye on this. I believe this has the potential to be a short-term negative catalyst. There's going to be a lot of people talking about how the government's going to get shut down, how it's never going to pass, and all these different things. So I did get the workout in this morning. Honestly, it was kind of lame. It was kind of lame. The CrossFit I went to just it was just kind of a lame one. So I'm gonna try a different one. My days are all mixed up. I'm gonna try a different one tomorrow. See if I can get some better results. So we'll see how I like that one. But appreciate you guys asking, man. Normally I'm just a normal normally I'm just a normal go to the gym kind of guy. I'm not a big CrossFit or class dude, but I will say it does help when you have like a class like that you have to go to, because then you're like waking up and you're like, man, I already signed up for this, like I don't want to have to pay. So like it like drags you out a little bit, which I kind of need at this point, because I ran a 4:31 mile. Wow, congratulations. Yeah, I just need a little extra kick in the butt, because I want to be able to get my workout in, and then come here and be like fully ready with the news. So it definitely did that. I was definitely awake nice and early. I had like a nice morning to myself, which is new. And I'm one of those people who like, I'm not going to be tired if I get up early. Like I just need to do it. So it was definitely helpful. It was definitely helpful in that aspect. Just got to find one that's going to kick my butt a little more. Like I want to be hurting afterwards. I don't want any of this this casual workout stuff. I want to get my butt kicked. Here's a good question. This is one that's all over the place. This is all over the place. Is Ripple going to go public or not? Guys, Ripple is going to go public. Like, and I can't say that for certainty, right? Obviously, no one knows. No one knows if Ripple's going to go public. But my opinion is Ripple is absolutely going to go public. Now, is Ripple going to go public right now with Gary Gensler suing them? No, they're not. Like that's obvious to me. Ripple's not going to be going public with the SEC suing them. Like that's just unrealistic. That's never going to happen. But as soon as this lawsuit's over and as soon as we have a new SEC, then I think Ripple's absolutely going to go public. So look, people don't understand. This is what people have a hard time understanding this. Ripple, the company, Jake is probably right here. Jake is probably right here, Roger. But for the topic of this conversation, it's still going public, right? So just so people know, Roger's 100% right. And actually, I think Jake is right. Ripple probably will be doing a direct listing rather than an IPO. The only difference is that means Ripple's directly listing their shares to the public rather than selling shares to raise money. Ripple really doesn't have to raise money, and they're actually buying back shares right now, which means they're really more focused on making sure ownership of the company is concentrated where it's at. They don't want to be in a position where they're giving away too much of the company. Kevin, absolutely. Yep. This is important to realize. Brad said in Japan that Ripple is in no hurry to go public. Absolutely. That's his leverage, right? Look, Ripple is not, Ripple has a fiduciary duty to shareholders, and they're trying to build out their company. They need to make it seem like it's absolutely impossible to operate in the United States, which for the most part it is. But the more they can say like, oh, we can't go public because of the SEC, we're in no hurry, blah, 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 it just puts pressure on the SEC. So if Ripple was to come out and say, oh, like, yeah, like, what we think things are going to get better pretty soon, we're looking at going public soon, then it's just not going to create the same level of hostility and angst against the SEC. But Ripple coming out and saying, hey, like, look, we're in no rush to go public, like the United States is too hostile. It's all marketing, right? It's all Ripple just playing their hand here and pushing into the idea that the United States is impossible to operate. So, Kevin, you're 100% right. Ripple is in no rush to go public, but they still clearly want to go public, right? So they're in no rush to go public, because why would you go public in an environment where you're getting attacked by the regulator? That can change very quickly. Look, regulators are transitory, and it's very possible we have a different regulator at the SEC in a year's time from now. I think Ripple would definitely consider going public if there was a pro SEC chair. So, I mean, a pro crypto SEC chair. So just keep those things in mind. Brad Garlinghouse is always going to come out and say, hey, we can't go public. Hey, things are too hostile. But at the end of the day, he's talking about the current environment because he has to, right? Brad can't go making predictions and saying, oh, well, based on a different SEC chair, then we would go public. He's just going to hold his cards tight. And I think that's more of what we're seeing. 852 people watching the stream. Guys, I really want to get this to 1,000. That would be awesome. Make sure if you're here right now, you drop a like on the stream. Super, super helpful. Thank you to everyone who does that. Poly sign. Yeah, I did see the poly sign news. It's unfortunate. I do have a little bit of a different viewpoint on this. And look, I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but like, there is a risk in investing in private companies, and like, that's what we're seeing. So like, it obviously stinks that this happened and it sucks, but like this is like, when you get involved in a private company, like that's always the risk. It's like, you have the risk that the company just disappears. Yeah, Kevin, that's ultimately where I sit. That's the understanding of when you invest in a private company. And I totally do I think things were handled correctly down the road? No, not necessarily. Do I think it's weird in the situation? Do I think things happened that were questionable along the way? Absolutely. I'm not pushing back against any of that. I just want to make it clear that these are the things you deal with when you invest in a private company. So I just want people to realize that there's a reason why some of these things are being gatekept from the public. And if the situation is that every single time something happens in private markets where everyone's who's held accountable, blah, 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 it just kind of fuels the SEC's point on why retail shouldn't be allowed in private markets. So it's just something to consider, right? You're taking big risks in private equity, for big rewards. And the big risk is like you don't have those same protections. These companies don't have the fiduciary duty to the public. So there's a lot of those things missing. So just important to keep those things in mind. And like, obviously, like I said, like it sucks. Like, man, I would have loved for PolySign to work out, and it's annoying the way that it hasn't, but just really important to keep in mind, at least for the future, that there are increased risks with private companies. And this is one of those risks. Do you think we will be able to invest in Ripple if we are in Africa? Are you in Africa, M. Felton? And you're trying to invest in Ripple? Possibly. Yeah, possibly. There's certainly ways you can do it. I want to say you could check out the mastermind group from Beyond Broke. I think you would be able to do that. So link should be in the description of my X page. If you are in Africa and you want to invest in Ripple pre-IPO, I think we can help with that. Mikkel, do you think the escrow will be used to pay off debt for each country, assuming XRP reaches about $10,000 a coin? No, I mean, I don't see how that would really work out, because I don't see why Ripple would be using their XRP to pay off the debt of a country. There would have to be some partnership in place there. I think there's a better possibility that the debt is tokenized on the XRP ledger than XRP is used to pay off the debt of the country. But I could be missing something in that thesis. I have heard that thesis come out before. I just don't know realistically why Ripple would be paying off debts of countries. Like, think about it this way: like, if you were Ripple, would you want to use your funds to pay off the debt of like China? Like, no. Like, why would you do that? I'm probably missing something on the thesis there, but that's just my overall quick thoughts on it. Mikkel Diane just asks, and Rin and I discussed it yesterday. Great. Roger, I might need a rephrase on that one, but I really appreciate the donation, brother. No, you're good, brother. You're good, man. That's funny. That's funny. I was like reading through that and I was like, man, what am I missing here? No, you are so good, Roger. Do not apologize. Do not apologize. That's funny. Brad said weeks, not months on stablecoin regulations. Yep. Oh, did BG allude to no appeal? No, I don't think Brad Garlinghouse. I don't think Brad Garlinghouse has any idea if they're going to appeal or not. No, it's not whiskey. Everyone always thinks it's whiskey in the morning. It's so funny. It's just cold brew. It's cold brew. Yeah, there might be other problems going on if I was having a whiskey at what is it? 850. Yeah, it's not whiskey. It's cold brew. That's funny though. Ripple said they will issue RLUSD in weeks, not months. They don't need regs. Do they know something? I think they just think there's sufficient regulations. Look, I don't think Ripple really knows anything other than maybe rough timelines. What Ripple's waiting for is for their what Ripple's waiting for, Roger, just so you know, is Ripple is waiting for their standard custody purchase to close. Oh, take a look at this. Take a look at who they have on TV right now. everyone's favorite.
What some people think is not a great idea, and that is taxing unrealized gains, price controls, go down the list, raising corporate taxes. But immediately there's going to be whataboutism thrown back at the other side. Well, this lunatic Trump wants to put tariffs across the board on all that. Do you see how it's used in the
What's being lost in this argument? There's something that's really obvious to me that's not in any of these policy discussions. Foreign investors, whether you're the Qatari Sovereign Wealth Fund or the Saudis or UAE or someone in Asia, all the investments they make in America, whether it's venture capital or equity, or they buy stocks or they trade stocks, they pay zero tax. They don't pay a dime. A foreign investor pays zero. Why don't we level the playing field? Why are we going after American citizens that have worked so hard to get to this wealth? And we're talking about crazy unrealized gains taxes. I think that's insane. That will kill capital formation. But why shouldn't we tax the people that use our system to earn their wealth? Why wouldn't the playing field be leveled against foreigners? Foreign investors pay zero. It's actually hard for me to believe. And no one's picking this up. Why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we do that before we ever talked about doing something else, taxing Americans? It makes no sense to me.
Right. What do you gentlemen expect for tonight, James? What do you expect? It's ABC.
I expect a little bit of what we saw from Chris Coons earlier today. Trump is tariffs. Tariffs are bad. He's going to increase inflation. From the Trump side, I think emphasized that the pre-COVID economy, 3% growth, 3% real wage growth, 3% unemployment, all with low inflation, was the result of comprehensive policies. Hopefully we'll have a more substantive discussion than just tariffs are bad.
Yeah, I mean, again, we go back to this tariffs is bad argument where Trump put these tariffs on steel and aluminum. Biden campaigned on killing those tariffs, and they still sit there today because they had a national security imperative. That's why they're still there. They weren't enough on aluminum because China ended up putting our big aluminum smelters out of business. So to take this broad brush and say they're bad, just to Jay's point earlier about the complexity of the world, you have to target things when you're trying to protect industries from reliance on bad guys. To be like relying on Germany to make our ammunition in 1938. We don't want to do that. So we need to stop relying on China to help us with our military industrial complex.
In your view, Kyle, who would China prefer the next president to be?
I mean, I think that's obvious. They'd prefer Kamala.
Why?
I think because Trump's unpredictable, and Trump and his National Security Council were willing to really go levy these sanctions, these tariffs. Think about what Trump did in 2017. He had Iran buckled down to like $12 billion in working capital. Mm-hmm. You want to see sanctions properly executed? Those were properly executed. The sanctions on Russia right now, we sanctioned 10% of their oligarchs. We didn't touch their banks, and we let the energy business thrive, which is 60% of Putin's GDP. Like, we didn't sanction anything. Our sanctions on Russia are a nothing burger. We need someone in the seat that knows what they're doing, that is willing to press the hard button. And the hard button is going to hurt. But so far, we haven't had anyone in there that's willing to press the hard button. When Trump was in there, he had Iran buckled down. And then all of a sudden, this current administration flipped and said, let's give them $100 billion. And you see what happened when that happened. Like, I don't think we have a cohesive foreign policy, economic policy, sanctions policy.
Yeah, and I'll go on the domestic side. Our energy strength and our strength in tech, and the fact that more than 50% of the world's capital gets invested from the United States, those three things.
Crypto Clay, good to see you, brother.
From the Harris camp is skepticism of those three things. The Green New Deal is anti-energy. The taxation on capital gains is anti-capital flows. Okay, and then in tech, the idea that Lena Khan has somehow bought into the European view that U.S. tech is bad. I mean, there's nothing has brought people out of poverty around the globe more than getting connected to India's entire strategy on pulling people out of poverty is connecting them to the digital economy.
Yeah. And think one more thing. We need to start acting like the power that we are. We are 4% of the world's population. We're 25% of the world's GDP. We have 45% of the world's capital markets. We need.
All right, so a couple points there. Jake Lane should be talking from his cell right now. Yeah, exactly. A couple interesting points there. I think that one guy made a great point. It's like, why are we taxing unrealized capital gains for American citizens and not taxing foreign investment. I mean, that seems like an easy one, right? Like if people are going to be investing from foreign countries, like they need to be taxed. So I thought that was a phenomenal point. I like that one a lot. And it's an argument I haven't heard made that often. It's like, these people need to be taxed. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we taxing ourselves when we can tax all these other people? Like, it's an easy equation. Like, if you are profiting off the U.S. economy and profiting off these U.S. companies, like, you got to pay taxes. Man, that's a great point right there. Roger, another great point. This is, I think what you have here is what Brad was really talking about. I don't believe Brad was saying that he believes there's going to be, he's waiting for stablecoin regulations prior to issuing RLUSD. I think he was more saying we need the standard custody license to be transferred over. That's my understanding of the situation. Obviously, for all I know, Brad has some inside guy who's given him the information he needs on what's going to happen moving forward. My understanding is Brad is most likely referring to that closing in terms of that deal, giving Ripple the ability to have that trust charter in the United States, which under my interpretation is necessary to have a stablecoin product in the United States market. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't think it is the case that it's necessarily Ripple waiting or having some kind of jump on the fact that we're about to get stablecoin regulations. We could, right? But I don't know. It doesn't seem like to me anyone would really have the power to predict something like that. And with how hostile the administration has been, I'm skeptical to think there's really any inside information by cryptocurrency companies on what comes next. Let's see what we got. So the Dutch are going to tax U.S. citizens for holding FILA. Yeah, why not? I don't see anything wrong with that. Roger. Doesn't that allude to no appeal? Not sure if stablecoin can be launched in the midst of a lawsuit. Well, technically the lawsuit's over. Is Ripple waiting for no? I mean, that's a great question. I think that's more in line. What's Dogecoin? What's Dogecoin news? Any news? Sorry, I don't have any Dogecoin news for you. I don't know if there's any Dogecoin news ever. It's just really just Elon Musk getting excited about it. Sorry, let me get back to this. Look, I think it makes sense that Ripple would wait for no appeal to launch the stablecoin. Does Ripple have a jump on the inclination that the SEC won't appeal? I'm sure they have an opinion one way or the other, but I don't know if they know anything we don't. What's the date now? What are we at? We're at what's it, the 11th? Got my phone somewhere here. 10th. So, all right. We're working our way there. But I don't know if Ripple has any special insight there. Maybe some people disagree. I don't know. John, I was going to read that message, but cannot on stream. Yeah, so I wouldn't say I believe there's really any inside knowledge
S&P futures up by 16, and the Nasdaq indicated up by 67. Yesterday we had green arrows
Futures
at this
up, that's
time,
good.
and the market built on those gains throughout the session. So you finally saw a positive session after 4 down days for the Dow before that. Treasury market right now shows that the 10-year just slipped below 3.7%, 369. The 2 years at 365. Okay, that does it for us today. Tonight, you have that presidential debate. We will be watching that very closely. We'll be watching the markets very closely. And the 30-year Treasury is the only one that's hanging in above 4% right now.
It's not at 9 p.m. We may not be watching that closely.
We'll see you tomorrow. Right now, it's time for Squawk on the Street.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm David Faber with Jim Cramer. We're live from Post 9 at the New York Stock Exchange. Carl has the morning off. Let's give you a look at futures. We get started with trading 30 minutes from now. How are we looking? Yeah. What do you think, Jim?
Well, look, we were at 330. We look like it's going to be another really big.
All right, futures look good. That is a positive sign for the cryptocurrency market for sure. That's really all I think we want to expose ourselves to Jim Cramer here, unless something interesting pops up. I'll pan over there if we have to, but I know the vast majority of people here probably don't care too much about seeing Cramer. So the one thing that show is good for is just like if something crazy is happening in the market, pre-market, but I'll keep an eye on that and just throw it over if we need to. Michael, when will you be on the Paul Barron Network? Oh, good question. Actually, October 7th or October 8th, the day after that last day for an appeal. That's what I'm going to be doing and covering that. So if we get to a point where there is no appeal, that is where we're going to be talking about it on Paul Barron show. So that should be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. What's 626 say? Roger's laughing. What's 626 say? Mikkel, there's a lot of tweets about XRP CTF token. Yeah, that's a scam. Don't fall for that. As I'm fairly confident CTF token is a scam. We can take a look. We can take a look at it. CTF coin XRP. We can take a look together. So see what you guys have to say. Yeah, kind of tough to go through the website right now, but I would be careful of that. There's a lot of people who are getting paid money to promote that token. And trust me, when you're in the position I am, you get all of them. You get all of them. You guys should see my email box. Like, they beg me to promote this stuff. I just won't. So, like, some people are more than willing to promote it. There's a lot of money being paid to promote it. I would say that a lot of people being paid to promote it have questionable morals on whether they should be promoting that or not. But that's all I really want to get into there. I don't want to be throwing people under the bus here, but like, man, I don't see anything good with that. So just be careful there. I would love to be wrong. So if I'm wrong, I will come on stream and eat that. I will eat that for sure. Look, this is what these people know. These people know if they go pay a bunch of influencers to go talk about something, it's going to catch people's interest. So a lot of influencers, they don't care, right? They're just like, hey, I'll take the money. They're going to give me a G to go push this onto my followers. I'm going to take the G and push this onto my followers. For me, it's pretty obvious, like, hey, this is something that I wouldn't want to bring up. Once in a while, if there's a cool project that I think has potential, I will talk about it because obviously, like, if it's a cool project, I want to help use my platform to give them notoriety. But with CTF token, I don't know. Mickle just exposed how XRP is. That's funny. I like I said, if I got paid by Ripple, I would be a happy man. But so far, BG hasn't shown up in my DMs yet offering me any kind of money. AMM fix on countdown. We can take a look at some of those amendments, Stephen. Saw you talking about those earlier. What is the AMM fix? Is it anything that is, I don't know, significant that we would notice or not really? All right, share this tab. Yeah, let's take a look at some of those amendments, see how that voting's going. All right, so oh, AMM fix. Oh, just hit. Oh, thank you, Defin. Always on it. Defin, if you have any information on what that fix is, curious, but yeah, that's on countdown. Cool. What'd Chadwick say? Thank you so much, Roger. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, no, Roger, it's great getting to meet you as well. Thank you, Chadwick. Let's take a look at. Click it. Let's take a look at what this is. Okay, so it's changing the way it checks the transactions. Okay, so nothing I think that is, hey, like in your face. You'll notice this, but good to see the voting process going through. Let's see what else we got here. DID hanging at 57. I can't tell. It looks like that might have gotten some votes. Maybe I'm wrong. 57% seems higher than it was before. X-Chain Bridge, I think this is pretty much done. I think this is being replaced by Axelar. So I don't think that's still moving forward. Those are kind of the two big things. Price oracles too. Price oracles as well. That's a big one. That's up at 18. That's at 51%. So that's interesting. Oracle got 5 votes in the last 3 days, and DID got 3. Okay, cool. Cool. It looks like we're making some movement on those amendments then. All right. So DID 20, Oracle 18. I'll remember that now for sure. Okay. We'll track those more closely from now on. And for a while, they weren't getting much movement. Ethan, do you know if I'm right on X-Chain Bridge being dead? Because I'm looking here in the fixed X-Chain reward rounding. So that's up for vote, and it looks like that is getting some momentum. So are they still doing X-Chain Bridge or no? Like, is X-Chain Bridge still a thing? My interpretation was they were replacing X-Chain Bridge with Axelar, but maybe they're just replacing one use case with Axelar, and they're still going forward to X-Chain Bridge. Google works hard for us. Let's do our part and smash the like button. Thank you, Brian. This is the biggest morning stream we've had thus far. Funny enough, we really pop off on X. YouTube viewership is definitely down. I got to figure out how to play around with that YouTube algorithm a little bit. See if we can get some more YouTube viewership up. But The X numbers are massive. The X numbers, it's like I take a look at who else is live on X, and I'm kind of up there with some of the big dogs. So that's cool to see. Would love to get that YouTube number up higher, but what are you going to do? Make sure to smash the like button on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, help out there. Would really appreciate that. It's funny. I used to get massive YouTube numbers when I was streaming on my phone for live streams, but they were all fake people. Like it was all bots. It's like the bots would infiltrate the mobile live stream. So I don't know how much of it was real. Yeah, I would go live, and I know some of you remember those days. I made a bunch of people mods to try to handle it, but it was just all scammers. Yeah, Mickle won't notify me on YouTube on your streams. That's crazy. Yeah, I have a feeling like there is definitely something going on in terms of YouTube. Make sure if you're on YouTube right now, you do have notifications on, but yeah, that's definitely a big thing. I know for a fact they're definitely doing something to suppress the channel on that front. That is something I've heard from a lot of people. A lot of people tell me that they go to find my stream and they get notifications for everyone and they don't get notifications for my stream. So whatever, we'll beat it. Oh, so you used to get them and not anymore. Okay, so you get notifications in the UK. Interesting. All right. Maybe I'll have to send a strongly worded email to YouTube. I don't want to mess with. Oh, you get notifications? Interesting. Maybe it's a notification setting issue. I don't know. I really don't want to start a fight with YouTube. I've had one fight with YouTube and I have no interest in rehashing it. I got my channel back after it was banned. Shout out to Ashley Prosper for helping out on that front. And other than that, I am perfectly fine with not rehashing any fights with YouTube. They're not really the people you want to go up against. Especially when you're in my position. Especially when your entire platform runs on YouTube. Would prefer if I wasn't fighting YouTube. Take a look at the news real quick. Just scrolling through some things. See what they're saying over on Squawk real quick.
Watt. You can power, I don't know what 1 gigawatt, 1 giga, yeah, 1 giga, whatever.
750,000 homes, that man.
750,000 homes, man. All right, coming up, we're going to discuss all things Apple, the new iPhone 16, and AI, of course, as well. We'll also talk about that setback when it comes to their taxes in the EU. Let's give you another look at futures. We get started with trading 17 minutes from now.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Did anyone see that new Apple iPhone 16? Pretty big nothing burger, in my opinion. Did anyone take a look at that? Anyone got any opinions on that new phone? Oh, this looks like it's going to be a pretty funny video making fun of the new iPhone. Let's take a look at this real quick. This looks like it's going to be poking fun at how little things change on each iPhone. So let's take a look at what we got here. Apple design team making iPhone 16. So this is the iPhone 15. Oh man, something's breaking those videos I try to port over. So well, weird. Man, can't figure that out. Have to fix that. All right. Well, can't watch that. Oh, it's just full screen I can't do. Yeah. Literally the only change being the camera. I think that's what's poking fun at. They did add like another button on the side as well for like camera control, but like, I don't know who's getting a new phone just to, yeah, there's the camera button. Adding AI, but like, there's no reason why they can't just add AI to all the other phones. I mean, Apple's AI push has been pathetic. Pathetic. I don't know if anyone else thinks so. Like, yeah, Tesla. If Tesla came out with a phone, absolutely. Absolutely. The big thing with Axeler is that JP Morgan Onyx is connected to Axeler and layer 0. So that connects to the XRP ledger, JP Morgan again. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know. That's definitely a big advantage of Axeler. Axeler seems like, so that goes back to how I always thought this was going to play out, in which institutions build their private side chains and then hook up to the XRP ledger for public liquidity. And that's how the XRP ledger kind of fits perfectly into the entire equation. So in my eyes, that's all positive, right? I did hear about XTV. Anything specific, or just that XTV is a thing now? Yeah, PiPhone is Elon. Take a look at this real quick.
Something that can help you with sleep apnea. If you have something that can be a hearing aid, as opposed to the 4 million that are sold every year, you have these incremental people, 20 million worldwide, who just say, wow, you know what? I've got something here. I have tinnitus. So if you have tinnitus, you want to block it with a hearing aid. It just gives you noise. But if your phone rings, you're dead man, because then you have to pull that out, pull it in, blah, blah, blah. No, not anymore. And what I think that Tim Cook, I once showed him my problem with tinnitus and Apple, and he was like, I thought he wasn't paying attention. He probably wasn't, but he was so delightful. He said, wow, that's really interesting. And I was showing him how if you could make a hearing aid that would somehow blast noise, but also allow me to make a call. And he said, that's interesting. This is probably 6 years ago. Well, here it is. I don't think he said, hey, Jim Cramer once, because that would my head could not fit in the door of the New York Stock Exchange. But I'm just saying that what he does is try to find things that are incremental, that add up to being millions of people. But it's not what Wall Street was.
Will it be enough
to model?
Will it be enough?
They just want to model.
They do, but they also want to see some growth, because it's been a while. In fact, people go back to 2000.
How long until Starlink is good enough to compete with what we have now? Starlink probably needs to double the speed in which they can offer at a cheaper price. So I actually looked at Starlink where I'm living now. There was like some weird issue with fiber. We ended up working it out, but it still doesn't really make sense to do it residential. If you could have a Starlink device, if you could have a Starlink device that was portable, that you could just take with you, like it was big enough to fit in a backpack, but also provide your entire house Wi-Fi, and you didn't have to have it constantly like looking up at the sky. Chadwick says, I used Starlink for 2 years. I live in the middle of the mountains, and that's my only option. It's freaking fantastic. I can take it with me in my RV, and it works everywhere. It doesn't get much better than that. Listen to Chadwick, guys. If you're traveling and you need service, I've heard great things from Starlink. I don't think it makes sense yet from a residential standpoint. Like if you're living in a place with service. Oh, yeah, John. I mean, John. So yeah, John. Live streams are every morning now. Monday through Friday, every morning at around 8:30, 8 to 8:30 Eastern. The no notification thing seems to be an issue on YouTube, so I'll have to figure out how to crack that. I should put out a post and let people know. So thanks for letting me know, guys, that you're not getting notified. Important information. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's mind blowing. Way out in the middle of the desert, completely no cell service from ours, and it works perfect. Okay, wow. Hours, wow. Yeah, no, that's great information. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense yet to have it if like you're not in that what position. Like if you have like the ability to get fiber, I still think it makes more sense to get fiber. But if you could see a situation in which Starlink can disrupt your phone service and your internet, and it can pick up the speeds a little bit, I think it's very close to just replacing everything. It's a lot more scalable, right? Because if you can just beam service down to your phone and you don't have to wire it everywhere and you don't have to have underground wires taking it places, then like that's very, very competitive. I still think it's a little too slow to compete and a little too expensive to compete with the normal service there. So it's getting there though. It's getting there. Mickle Mafia. Yes, yes, yes. Dang, it's early, 6:21 a.m. You must be more towards that West Coast. Yeah, that's the unfortunate part about the new time. It does make it difficult for people on the West Coast to tune in. It's unfortunate, but I think this is generally the path that we got to go, because like all the important stuff happens in the morning, and I want to cover the important stuff when it happens. All right, I don't want to cover the important stuff at afternoon. So who knows? Maybe there'll be an opportunity to do afternoon live streams as well. Maybe we can get a weekend thing going. Have to figure it out. But so far, me personally, this new time works way better. Way better. Gets me up nice and early. Makes sure I'm on top of everything in the market. Make sure that I have plenty of time in the morning to get everything situated. So this is great. Seven minutes till market opens. Yes, yes, yes. 7 minutes until market opens. And unfortunately, I don't know if I'll be able to, yeah, I'll be able to cover the market open, but I'm going to have to jump off pretty soon after. Anyway, yeah, we do miss Kawhi Girl. I feel so bad. She messaged me a couple of times and she was like, "Oh, like I'm so upset. I don't get to see the morning streams anymore." And like, I want to do something, but I can't. Like, I just like can't. So like, I definitely miss Kawhi Girl. That's unfortunate. Um, Love the new stream time. I used to hop on right after GMC, but now I can take a listen while I'm running. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yep, that's the goal. That's the goal. And obviously, things right now are a little slow in terms of news, but as things really start coming forward with new news and as things pick up, this is going to be a great time to cover it all in one place. So market's kind of just opening sideways, it looks like at the moment. Chadwick, thank you for the gifted membership. 30-minute market update live stream. Yeah, I'll have to figure it out. I would like to figure out a way to do mobile live stream at some point throughout the day. It's just hard to stay consistent on some of that stuff because I have so much going on. So this is nice because it leaves the rest of my day open to focus on other stuff. So I've just got to play around with it. I've had a lot of changes recently in terms of like my living situation and like everything in terms of my daily schedule. So I just have to like rebuild that. 626, thank you for becoming a member, brother. I'm definitely going to start doing more member only chats as well. I'm just waiting for people to kind of adjust to the new time. So appreciate all the members a lot. And just know right now we're just making sure that everyone can still get their 2 cents in. Well, the market recap is more of my daily video, right? So like that's the purpose of the daily video. So, you know, I don't want to overly blast people, right? Like I want people to feel like they can come and get the information. And I don't want people to have to go to like 3 different live streams and feel like they're missing out. So we'll play around with the idea. I do appreciate it though. We'll figure out something that works. We're going to start with this. This is 5 live streams a week, about an hour. So that's like 5 hours of live streams a week. We'll be able to figure out how to incorporate that more. Jazzy, head of Ripple, has some good projects they are building. Yeah, I like Jazzy a lot. I think Jazzy is going to be a rock star. I have a lot of hope that she's really, really, really going to turn into a very important asset for Ripple and the XRP ledger. Yeah, I hope Jazzy does turn into kind of that next David Schwartz. I think she has the ability to do it. She's very, very smart. I like the way she speaks. Seems like she's really ahead of the market in terms of a lot of things. I am a big fan of Jazzy. Big fan of Jazzy, and I hope she continues to kind of kill it. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the approach. I'm a big fan of the approach. Have I tweeted the new live stream time? No, I have to do that. I'm going to start putting out the live stream the night before and scheduling them. So that should help with some of that. So people should be able to see it up front. The X thing is whack for me now. Can't find any. What do you mean on X? You can't find anything? Just taking a look at the news real quick and making sure we're not missing out on anything. Nano nuclear energy. What is that? Nano nuclear energy. First vertically integrated portable nuclear microreactor. Interesting. Bullish on nuclear. I don't know how nuclear really gets rolled out, but nano nuclear energy, NNE stock. Let's take a quick look at this, man. Okay. Oh, this was a new company. I think they went public pretty recently. No revenue. All right. So just something to keep my eye on. Nano nuclear energy. Interesting. Just pull this up real quick for you guys. A lot of you guys know I watch Public Company. Nano nuclear energy. This is an interesting one in terms of what they're trying to do. Nothing I'm investing in, so understand that. Small module nuclear reactors. So looks like nuclear reactors that you could put on like a boat or something and have self-sustained energy on like a ship. So generally interesting. Micro reactors. No revenue or anything yet. So this is far out. But this is the size of their reactor, which is cool. Like just getting a nuclear reactor dropped. It looks like market's about to open. Let's pull over there.
In some ways. You hear the cheers here. We got a opening bell coming your way in 9 seconds. Here at the big board, Goldman Sachs is 1 million black women driving economic opportunity for 1 million black women by 2030. At the NASDAQ, T. Rowe Price celebrates the launch of this intermediate municipal income ETF.
Municipal income ETF is what you live for. I remember when you told me last night, there's a new deal coming. I didn't know it was that intermediate municipal income ETF. Which,
all right,
by the
looks
way,
like the
actually
market's
offers
half
some
up,
value,
half down.
you know?
Guys, I gotta
The
run.
taxes are very
Thank you so
good.
much for coming. I will catch you later.
Okay.
Guys, I gotta run. Thank you so much for coming. I will catch you later. Live stream tomorrow, same time, same place. If you don't have notifications, set something. Would love to see you there. And for now, Mikkel out.